One thing I keep on hearing is that one thing that is always true to this day. Whenever you trip or fall, you always have two choices. Stay down and give up, or get back up and keep on trying. That is why I am a huge Sonic fan. Not because the games or just because the TV show or comics, because Sonic is one blue hedgehog that keeps on running and never gives up. I remember the first time I played a Sonic game, Sonic Heroes, at a friend's family house on a good old Xbox. I was amazed of that game. The cast of characters, the 3D adventure roam, and of course the cartoon aesthetic. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of colorful cartoons. I never knew much about all the characters, but one look at the game, I just had so much fun with it. I even decided to grab the game Square One when we have our own Xbox. Sadly, I wasn't able to finish it, but when I heard other games from the Sonic series, I wanted to see them all. I played Sonic Unleashed, and I enjoyed that game the most, despite the flaws, and I even learned that Sega even have their own video game consoles as well. One of them including the Sega Genesis, which thanks to my cousin, introduced that to me. In fact, my cousins even have the Sega Gems collection, which I tried to play, but I was unable to finish the very first level of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, aka Mushroom Hill. I never played a 2D game before. I mean, sure, I did play a little bit of Super Mario Brothers, but this one felt a little bit more different. Still, I give it a chance by getting the Sonic Genesis collection and give it another go. I even learned that they have more IPs than just Sonic alone. Ironically, not only Alex Kidd, but there is Rystar, Vector Man, and so much more. Maybe I will make a review on those games in a later time. I still think the classic 2D Sonic games is good even till this day, and I think Sega knows this, as they decide to grab in two men to help them bring back the past, Taxman and Stealth themselves. Even go up and beyond with their own original game, Sonic Mania, one of my favorite 2D Sonic games. Normally I just review one game and move on to a different series, but this time I decided to do something a little bit different, something special. I decided to do a review on Sonic 1, 2, Sonic 3, and Knuckles, with Sonic Mania to be the finale. This will be something entirely new, and I hope you enjoy it too. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a review on Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, just for clarification, I'm going to be using both the Sonic Genesis collection for the PS3 and the phone app. I don't have any of these versions or the Genesis for that matter. So, without further ado, let's get to reviewing. Did you know that Sonic was not the first mascot for the Sega company? Back then, the very first mascot for Sega was none other than Alex Kidd, a 80s mascot for the Sega Master System that has one mechanic I never thought they ever use: rock, paper, scissors. Due to lack sales and mishaps, they decided to retire Alex Kidd and made a brand new mascot, someone that not only can replace Alex, but also someone to take Mario off the gaming throne. April 1990, Sega requested many people, including the main trio, Naoto Oshima, Yuji Naka, and sorry if I butchered this name wrong, Hirokazu Yashura, to make a game capable of selling more than 1 million copies with a new mascot for the Sega Genesis. There were a bunch of ideas: a chicken, wolf, even the man in pajamas that looked like Theodore Roosevelt that is now currently Eggman, until it came down to the main three: a rabbit, an armadillo, and a hedgehog. I I think you know what they decided on. So it was decided. They made his color of his fur blue to represent Sega's logo. His shoes, not only inspired by Michael Jackson's shoe style with the strap, but also the colors of Santa. His attitude taken by Bill Clinton's Get It Done attitude, and Yuji Naka's belief of hedgehogs' inability to swim, which was false info on his part. He was dubbed none other than Mr. Needlemouse. Yeah, not the best name, so they decided to redub him Sonic the Hedgehog. Thus, the rest is history. They achieved their dream goal, dethrone the Red Plumber, and managed to make an audience. Even were crazy enough to make a war, a console war. Rivals have been made, and arguments have aroused, but eventually, after 2 years later, Nintendo went back on top, and Sega was falling behind. After that, they become good friends, so much so they have a crossover with the Olympic Games. And Sega even helped them on the F-Zero game, too. That's awesome! I kind of find it funny that the Rabbids and Mario have the best crossovers ever, but yet Nintendo and Sega can't seem to find a perfect balance with Sonic and Mario's best crossover, other than Olympic Game Series. I mean, is it really that hard to make a crossover with Mario and Sonic? I'm just asking here. Strange, isn't it? So without further ado, let's review Sonic the Hedgehog. It's jam time. Welcome to South Island, filled with lush green grass and wonderful creatures that walk and talk like a human called Mobians. They are Mobians, right? Everything is good until a certain bad scientist named Dr. Ivo Robotnik, aka Eggman, came along and began to pollute their lush land, kidnapping the creatures and use them to power some machines called Badniks. His plot: grab all 6 mystical gems called the Chaos Emeralds and use them for evil purposes. Decided to stop the mad doctor, Sonic used his trademark speed to go to rescue his friends and find all the Chaos Emeralds to foil the doctor's plans, saving the world from disaster. And that's it. I don't have to say anything much about the story, as it is a simple Sonic vs. Eggman, nothing more, nothing less. But it also seems to have the element of nature versus technology into it, something I never thought until now. I mean, thinking about it, it seemed it was obvious at this point. And plus, we're talking about the blue speedy hedgehog fighting against an egg-shaped scientist that put animals into robots as power fuel. I don't think it needs any more clarification than that. In some way, Sonic's gameplay is like Mario, just go from point A to point B. But there is a twist to it. Since Sega wanted to focus on their new processor, Blast Processing, Sonic's core gameplay is momentum-based. Using this speed, he can pass levels with easily fastest time. However, don't think this game is just a hold right to win, as there are hazards and enemies, obviously. One hit by them, and you'll lose life. Lose all of them, and it's back to square one. Yeah, I'm not fond of this idea, but I understand why. Back then, there was no such thing as save slots or save datas. It's just an arcade motion of you to pass the level without failing so much, like a huge arcade machine. However, all thanks to the save feature, I feel a little bit more ease of its difficulty, especially when I have the power to save it anywhere. Though I try to be fair by only saving the game at the beginning of the level. Hey, I want to finish the game, but I also want a fair challenge, you know? However, there are ways to make sure none of this ever happens. For one, you can obviously jump on enemies as if they are Goombas, or you can use the momentum from a highest point to bounce off enemies to make a quick shortcut. Sometimes you need to tuck and roll to roll into enemies with using the super spin dash, or what I like to call it, tuck and roll, and finally memorizing the level layout so you can avoid hazards ahead of time or avoid enemies that can't be attacked. Think of it as like a driver's test. Green Hill teaches you the ropes on how Sonic plays. Marble Zone teaches you patience, which, oh boy, everything is so slow. You get more speed somewhat with Spring Yard, teaching you about using the physics to give you the advantage of big shortcuts. Labyrinth Zone makes the game slow down with the puzzles and vigilance of the terrain, as well as learning the fact of Sonic's main weakness. Starlight teaches you to use your head and precision on platforming, while the final level, Scrap Rain Zone, is the final exam. Oh boy, it's a doozy. However, there is one main warning I have to give to you, and one thing I have a gripe upon. The one thing I loathe the much. Spikes. Spikes are so much fun, especially the part where those invincibility frames you get from getting hurt by bandits or by an obstacle. Does not matter. One single step on those things, and all I can say, kiss your lives and your progression goodbye! If you want to avoid death, then you must either play good with the super number of patience or grabbing the rings to protect you. Think of the rings like life insurance. You collect hundreds of them, you get an extra life, free of charge. However, if you get hit, you will bleed out rings, which you can recollect them to protect yourself from anything. Well, mostly anything. Of course, rings are one of them that helps you, as there are also monsters too. Lives give you an extra life. Rings give you 10 rings. Shields grant you an extra protection without the cost of losing rings. Invincibility grants you invincibility, and Speed Shoes grants you extra speed. Not only is it an encouragement to be good at the game, but also takes your time to explore the level itself and using that momentum to get to areas you never thought you can reach. As much as I enjoy the game, however, I won't deny it has its issues, like this Super Spin Dash, for example. Due to being momentum based, unless you gain more speed to a certain area or a secret shortcut, you must walk back and forth to rebuild the momentum. It's a huge waste of time, especially when the game has the title Sonic, aka Speed. Yes, you can use your ball form to build momentum, but if all that momentum is somehow halted, backtracking and time waster commence. That is, unless if you're playing the Sega Ages or the iOS version, which gives you the opportunity to use the spin dash or drop dash. Man, I love those things. Then there is the level layout. Green Hill, Starlight, and Springard, perfect levels of using Sonic speed, while Marble and Labyrinth felt so flat and slow. But taking a breather is one thing, but not implementing the core thing that makes Sonic who he is, it just makes a major hold. If you want a game that focuses on momentum platforming, then make a game that focuses on that. Those are the only pet peeves with the game, yet I still find it enjoyable. Yes, it has its flaws, but no game is perfect. If every pork chop were perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs. Though the reason why I struggled isn't the level layout, but my lack of patience. There's one thing that I'm currently working on, it's that. If there's one thing that the game is good for, is not only the presentation, but also the music. The graphics, while is limited back then, make it distinct to one another. The lush green grass of Green Hill Zone to the mechanical wasteland of Scrap Rain. Each felt different from one another, and despite having only 3 acts per zone, felt more different and more unique from one another. And the music's so memorable. There is not one track that Matsuo Nakamura cannot make me forget, or dislike. Well, almost all of them. 2 come in mind when playing this game, and it's Labyrinth Zone and that dreadful music plays whenever Sonic is about to drown. Now, I don't like the music because it's not catchy, because it's, well, It's because out of all the levels I went through, out of all the struggles I had, Labyrinth Zone is one I played the most. Even thinking about it makes that music drilled into my head. And the drowning music, well, I understand why it was needed, was the one music I feared the most because unless you collect air bubbles, once that music stops, you lose a life. Honestly, I would not have minded this issue with the drowning music if only the level isn't, oh, I don't know.
Is it surrounded by 100% of the time?
Underwater levels are the worst. It's so slow, it's sluggish, and when you add in the drowning mechanic, it's not a great combo and will spread more fear of water than a fear of lightning. Sure, I could use cheat codes to skip a level to make things easier, but one, I like a challenge, so I refuse to use cheats. And two, I had no idea how to activate the cheat codes. Until after the stream, that is. In truth, I could have used that instead of saving states, but even so, how does that make the game any better? Why should I use cheat codes to go to the levels I want to play and enjoy when all that matters in the end is I did skip on basically almost half of it? That's not a really good sign if you ask me. In match grab 50 rings. As I was saying, if you manage to grab 50 rings before reaching to the goal, there will be a warp ring. Jump in, and you are thrown into, well, the special stage. Now, in this special stage is a maze in which you have to direct Sonic to the castle by the constant twists and turns. I'm not gonna lie here, people, I use the save slots on this part the most. Mostly because it's all luck-based. Sure, you can use the R bumpers, the speed for the spins, bumpers, as well as just the normal bumpers to help you progress. But oh boy, it's all luck-based. What is so special about the Chaos Emeralds, you might ask? Well, absolutely nothing. Sure, you get the good ending, but come on, nothing? I wasted my entire time to get in every single Chaos Emerald, pass through all the zones, go through Labyrinth zones so many times, use so much save files to get to my destination, only to get a good ending? Why not having you the ability to play as Alex Kidd, or Skid, or as Secret Double, or maybe earning Super Sonic? Now, I know that Supersonic is not a thing in Sonic Hedgehog 1, but seriously? That's it? That's tame, even for Sonic. And even if you decided to ignore collecting the Chaos Emeralds, if you decided not to go through the special stage, you're going to see this. Now, if there's one thing you want to know about me, is that one, I like a challenge, and I'd rather try to beat the game 100%. But two, if they're going to give me a reward, I don't want a reward of just bragging rights. I want something special. Like how Nintendo did it with the very first Super Mario Bros. Game. Sure, it was hard mode, but at least it gives you something. And in the iOS game, they allow you to play as Tails or Knuckles. And even in the Sega ages, you're able to use the ranking mode to compare to other people online to see who is the fastest. They even give you the option of using the drop dash or the spin dash. And even better in plan, they even give you the ring keep mode, which allows you to keep rings while losing them less. Kind of like easy mode, for instance. They give you options, but in the first game, they give you basically nothing really much. Sonic may have some rough edges, but despite it all, Sonic Hedgehog is one of the best games in the Sega Genesis. I mean, how many times has Sega come back to this game? Yes, it has some flaws, but think of it as a prototype. The first one has a flaw, so they fix the issue for the next idea. Something that Sega seems to be facing even today.
if by any chance you want to try out this game, I recommend to get the Sonic Gems collection, or even better, get this game on Android, or if you don't have Android, iOS. And trust me when I say it, it's a really good game. I recommend you to play it. Fantastic! So, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Do you like the game, or does this actually fit your reaction with it? Place your comments down below. Till then, this is Jeremiah from JamProc35, saying stay fantastic, and of course, have yourself a very good day. Excelsior! Till then, this is Jeremiah from JamProc35, saying stay fantastic, and of course, that's all for me. Excelsior!
You've such a